A boy dropped from the sky without a parachute, the others watching helplessly as his body slammed into the earth. Later, as the others gathered in silence, one boy stepped forward and, without regret, admitted he had cut the cord. In 1943, the number of homeless children in evacuation zones exceeded 670,000. Most were vagrants, beggars, or petty thieves. The more brazen among them joined gangs and committed serious crimes such as robbery, theft of state property, murder, and more. According to a report from the Central Executive Committee to Comrade Stalin, a decree was issued stating that, for particularly heinous offenses, children would be tried as adults to the fullest extent of the law, in accordance with the statutes of the USSR. A man named Anton Vishnevetsky met with two government officials. After exchanging greetings, they handed him a document and informed him that he had been selected to head a new school. When he asked about the staff, they told him he could choose whomever he wanted. Elsewhere, late at night, a group of boys broke into a house. One approached the guard and stabbed him, while another grabbed his gun. They entered the house and began searching for anything valuable. After gathering what they could, they loaded everything onto a horse-drawn cart. As they were finishing, police officers arrived. Unable to escape, the boys hid and shattered the lights to plunge the house into darkness. When the officers entered, the boys attacked. One boy was shot, and 2 officers were killed in the skirmish. Another boy rushed to his fallen friend, only to find himself staring down the barrel of an officer's gun. Meanwhile, Vishnevetsky assembled his chosen staff and briefed them on their mission. The group expressed confusion and concern. They were targeting children, but Vishnevetsky insisted that these were not merely children. They were repeat offenders, hardened criminals. The surviving boys were taken to jail, where they joined other young inmates. Government officials convened to discuss their fate. One boy, Chernov, was brought into an office and asked to atone for his crimes publicly. As an alternative, he was offered a place at the new school. Later that night, back in the jail, he lay on his bed. Suddenly, he pulled out a knife and threatened a newly arrived inmate. His friend tried to stop him, but he was also threatened. When officers returned sometime later, they found both friends dead. The boys are then loaded into a truck and driven to a remote location. In the truck, a soldier hits a boy because he refuses to put out his cigarette. Tiapa gets scared by this and starts to worry that the situation they've gotten into is dangerous. But Chernov, unfazed, says they will escape. The school turns out to be a military training center aimed at producing ruthless soldiers, but it seems dangerous. Everyone there is aggressive and starts fights even over small things, like a tab of hot water. One such fight turns fierce, leaving many injured and one dead. Vishnevetsky sees what happened. He scolds them and warns that if this happens again, they will be executed. One of the boys reminds him they are minors and can't even be interrogated legally, but Vishnevetsky replies they'll simply be killed. Amid this, another group of boys arrives. Vishnevetsky asks how many there are and is told 7. The boys get off the van and line up. Pasha approaches and asks what they did to get there. The smallest of them, Nikita, says they were burglars. Later that night, 3 boys break into the storehouse and eat from the supplies. The next day, during roll call, the soldiers notice 3 boys are missing. They later find them sitting on top of a cliff. One soldier asks if they should be killed, but another says they should be fed first. Later in the cafeteria, Chernov and Tiapa talk about the security of the place. Chernov tells him to learn how to climb better. During training, Tiapa struggles to climb a rope. The soldier keeps yelling at him, but Tiapa jokes that he's a thief and had stolen the soldier's wallet. He then returns it, surprising everyone. During ski training, Vitya yells at the boys for damaging the equipment. Tiapa steals his gun and throws it away, jokingly telling him not to lose it again. The others excuse the behavior, saying it wasn't intentional. Later, a few boys climb down a mountain. Vitya and another soldier arrive and tell them to get up immediately. One of the boys, Mantia, trying to show off, cuts the rope and starts climbing without protection. He slips and falls, dying. That night, Skull gets up and prepares to leave. Chernov and Tiapa wake up and ask what he's doing. He says he's going to try to escape. He believes he knows every part of the place and is sure he can make it. Chernov tells him it can't be done, but Skull is determined. He says if he stays, he'll die like Mantia. There's no difference between trying to escape and staying. The next day, training resumes as usual. That night, Chernov and Tiapa sit alone as Chernov smokes. He compliments Tiapa's performance during the earlier training. Meanwhile, the soldiers report Skull's disappearance to Vishnevetsky. Vishnevetsky says he'll return when he realizes there's nowhere to go. If not, he'll be brought back. Amid this, a van approaches the school. Vishnevetsky and the other soldiers go out to see what it is. Inside is Skull's dead body, returned for identification. Vishnevetsky confirms it. Chernov and Tiapa see this from their hiding place. The next day, Vishnevetsky approached the boys and asked Tiapa to sing a song. After the song, he asked about his family. Tiapa said his mother was arrested and he doesn't have a father. That's why he had no caretaker. Later that night, while they were sleeping, Tiapa asked Chernov if he should tell them that his father is a soldier. Maybe they would let him go. But Chernov said it was a bad idea. He might get killed if he told them. Tiapa argued they might get killed either way. Chernov told him they had to be smart and not end up like Skull. He reassured him that they would figure it out. The next day, Vishnevetsky and Pasha sat down to talk. Vishnevetsky asked why Pasha was giving extra food to two boys, Tiapa and Chernov. He remarked that one is a thief and the other a young killer. Pasha reminded him what they were too, and said he would have preferred to serve time in prison than end up here. Vishnevetsky pointed out that the school was as bad as prison, but Pasha said he couldn't accept that they were sending children to war. Vishnevetsky believed that in times of war, anything is justifiable. Meanwhile, Chernov and Tiapa sat together as Tiapa ate an apple. Chernov asked where he got it. Tiapa joked that he got it from a camel. Chernov, knowing who gave it to him, asked if the camel was Pasha. They both laughed. Tiapa then shared the apple and they ate together. Later, as the boys gathered, another boy, Studer, approached with his group. He asked one of the boys if he was a Jew or Armenian. The boy answered that he was a bit of both. Studer started making racist remarks, then pulled out a knife and walked toward him. Chernov threw a rope around Studer's leg and made him fall, then ordered the group to get him out of there. As they carried him away, Pasha arrived. He told them to take Studer to the infirmary. He also told them to say he slipped and fell on a rock and to remove the rope from his leg. During a rock climbing exercise, Chernov and Prince were climbing when an explosion went off. Both boys survived, but their ears were bleeding. Sometime later, the boys were taken to a plane. They boarded and took off. When they reached the drop zone, they were told to put on their helmets and jump. All of them opened their parachutes, except one boy. Vishnevetsky ran toward him. The boy was dead. The parachute line was broken, which is why it didn't deploy. Vishnevetsky ordered the soldiers to remove anything from the body that could link him to the school and bury him. Tiapa then accused Studer of tampering with the parachute, yelling that he was a killer. When Vishnevetsky asked him, Studer didn't even deny it. He said he lost a card game with the boy and had a debt, so he killed him. Vishnevetsky then ordered Studer's execution. The rest of the boys were taken back to the school, while Studer was led away by soldiers to be executed. Later that night, Vishnevetsky attends a meeting where he is briefed about the war. He is told that the first group to be deployed should be Chernov's, as they are the best in the school. Following this, Vishnevetsky and Pasha sit down with Chernov to go over a map. Chernov asks what would happen if they are attacked when they approach the base, but no one has an answer. Chernov returns to their room and wakes Tiapa. He tells him they need to leave. Their group has received its first mission. He says they'll need to escape during the transfer, then tells him to go back to bed. Later, when Prince wakes up, he sees Kaluga lying on the floor. He has taken his own life. Prince screams for the others to wake up, and they all gather around the body. Kaluga had cut his wrists with a razor. He left behind a note that simply read, "Go to hell." Vishnevetsky is informed. He orders the soldiers to include everything in their reports and to take care of the body. He reflects on the harsh environment they've created and how they are essentially training children to die. Chernov's group boards a plane for their first mission. As they approach landing, the pilot announces that the aircraft is overheating. The boys complain, but the pilot ignores them. Eventually, the plane lands. The boys exit the aircraft, disrespectful to the officials waiting for them. They are then loaded onto another plane. Chernov asks to speak to the person in charge. The man arrives shortly and asks what they want. Chernov asks how long the flight will be. He's been told it will take 8 hours. Hearing this, he asks the officer to wake them up 1 hour before landing, and the boys fall asleep. Chernov notices Tiapa is still awake. When he asks why, Tiapa says the plane is heavily guarded and escape is impossible, but Chernov thinks they should try anyway. Tiapa says they'll be killed if they do. He regrets not mentioning that his father was a soldier. If he had, he might not have been sent to the front. But now, they're going to die anyway, since the Germans don't care whether they're children or not. Eventually, they reach their destination and jump off the plane. Chernov and Tiapa land first. While the others are still in the air, German soldiers spot them and open fire. All the others are killed. Chernov and Tiapa witness it from their hiding place. The next morning, Chernov and Tiapa walk through the snow, anger rising. They blame their own Russian officers, believing the boys were used as a distraction to draw German fire so the adults could break through. They sneak into a tunnel to enter the German camp. Inside, Chernov spots the bodies of the other boys, but hides it from Tiapa. They keep moving deeper into the camp, preparing their explosives. They set the charges and run. German soldiers notice them, but it's too late. The two boys climb out just as the base explodes. Outside, they celebrate their small victory. But then Chernov sees Tiapa about to step on a landmine. He runs toward him, pushing him out of the way, and detonates it himself. Both are injured. Tiapa rushes to Chernov, who has lost a hand. Chernov urges Tiapa to leave. Tiapa refuses, but Chernov insists the two of them won't survive alone, and Tiapa must go to the valley now. Reluctantly, Tiapa heads in the direction he was told. From a distance, he spots two soldiers. As he raises his weapon to shoot, a sudden snow tsunami crashes toward him. He screams. In 2005, an old man walks through a remote, snowy region. He's searching for his friend, a search he's made every year for decades. Now, he scans the faces of people passing by. It's Tiapa, who somehow survived the events of the war. As he walks, memories of his final conversation with Chernov play in his mind. Then, on a cliff, he sees a man, missing one hand. Tiapa rushes to him, overjoyed to be reunited with his friend. They embrace, remembering the life they once lived and the war that almost took everything from them. If you felt this story, subscribe and stay with me. There are many more to tell.